Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Crystal. Last time we made our way to the top of Sprout Tower and we obtained HM05 Flash. This time, as we learned that we need a gym badge in order to use Flash, I think we should probably go and get that, because it's a Pokemon game. You collect gyms, Sun and Moon notwithstanding. So, this right here is the Violet City Pokemon Gym, Leader Falkner, the elegant master of flying Pokemon. Let's head right on in. And I gotta say, I love the Generation 2 mix of the gym theme. It's just awesome. Hey, I'm no trainer, but I can give you some advice. Believe me, if you believe, a championship dream can come true. You believe? Then listen. The grass type is weak against the flying type. Keep this in mind. I am so sorry, Chikorita trainers. I recommend you do Sprout Tower first to train yourself up for this a little more. Anyone else, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. Anyway, as you can see, this is the Violet City Pokemon Gym. There are no names engraved on the statue, so maybe we'll be the first. And as you can see, for whatever reason, this gym is like a dollar sign shape. Really not sure why. Let me see if you're good enough to face Falkner. Alright, let's go. Now, the interesting thing about this gym is in the remake, they added the ability to just skip fighting all the trainers. I'm really not sure why they did this. It's just a really odd choice. Also worth noting, I personally think this area is actually slightly easier than Sprout Tower to get through, provided you're not racing a Chikorita. So, if you're having some difficulties in Sprout Tower, you might actually want to come here and just do the gym first, because the levels of the Pokemon in this area are actually a bit lower. So you might have an easier time of things. Alrighty. Anyway, I've got Totodile out in the front here because, honestly, Zubat is going to be completely useless in this gym. All it has are Bug-type moves, and those are not very effective against flying, last I heard. The keyword is Guts. Those here are training night and day to become bird Pokemon masters. Come on. Alright, here we have trainer number 2. The way a Pokemon gym works is there's always, well, I say always, but in truth it's more like most of the time, there are gym trainers that you get to fight before you face off against the gym leader. And once you beat the gym leader, you are not allowed to fight any gym trainers that you have not fought yet. So I very strongly recommend taking out all of the gym trainers in a given gym before you move on to the gym leader. Because if you don't, that's just experience lost, and I don't think that's a really smart way to play. Anyway, Totodile gets level 14, which is really nice. And the Bird Keeper is about to send out yet another Pidgey. Yeah, this gym is pretty much the Pidgey and Spearow gym, because by this point in the game, the only other flying type introduced is Zubat, and for whatever reason, they just don't use Zubat in this gym at all. And that's a bit of an endemic problem with the gyms in Johto that really bother me. There are certain types in this game that have very few Pokemon associated with them, and certain gyms in the game do not use all of those Pokemon. I'm not going to make a specific note of it, but I'm like 99% certain I am going to complain about that when the time comes, because it's really something worth complaining about. It's super duper annoying. Anyway, now that we have defeated all of the gym trainers, I am heading back over to the Pokemon Center, because once you move on to the gym leader, there's no going back. You have to beat that guy with all that you've got, and I think healing up before a gym fight is definitely something I would recommend doing. Later on in the series, I'll probably just skip going to do that, but I really wanted to make a big point of, if you're at the gym leader, you're going to want to heal up, because if you don't, you might come to regret it later. Anyway, I'm going to grab the Paralyzed Cure Berry right there, just because there is... It's a new day, is basically what I'm saying. It's a new day, or rather night. Anyway, I think I might as well show this, because once we beat the gym leader, this guy will not say the same thing. If you try and leave to the south before you beat the gym leader, this guy kind of freaks out on you. Wait up, what's the hurry? Have you gone to the Pokemon gym? You can test your Pokemon and yourself there. It's a rite of passage for all trainers. I don't know if I showed that before, but I always thought it was just a really iconic part of the game right here. It's just something I always remembered, little random. But yeah, I might have shown that a couple videos ago, but just in case I didn't, there it is again. Anyway, let's head right up here. And I also recommend saving before any major fight like this, because I don't think I've mentioned this up until now. If you lose a fight in this game, you will lose half of your held money. The stuff you keep with your mother is safe, but anything on you, half of it goes to the victor, which can be really, really, really scary at this early point in the adventure, so I highly recommend you save. I'm not going to because, I'll be honest, I'm cocky. Anyway, let's talk to this guy. I'm Faulkner, the Violet Pokemon Gym Leader. People say you can clip flying-type Pokemon's wings with a jolt of electricity. I won't allow such insults to bird Pokemon. I'll show you the real power of the magnificent bird Pokemon. And here we are, this is our first gym leader fight, and I have to say I love this song as well. One of the really, really great tracks in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Leader Faulkner wants to battle, and he is opening up with a Pidgey. Level 7 with the moves Tackle and Mud Slap. Mud Slap, believe it or not, is a ground-type move, really, really weak. But it also has a chance to lower accuracy, which can be a bit of a problem in this gym, because if your accuracy gets lowered, you're gonna start missing. Also, I have no idea why that Pidgey missed me right there. That seems really random. I'm not sure why that happened. Maybe some weird mathematical quirk with Generation 2. Also, the first of many critical hits in the series that will come at moments where they are completely unneeded. Anyway, down goes Pidgey, get 82 experience points, which is really nice. And next up is Pidgeotto. This Pidgeotto is level 9, don't ask me how that works. And it knows Tackle, Mud Slap, and Gust. Alright, so I don't think this thing is that big of a threat considering we outlevel it by 5. Especially since we did Sprout Tower before the gym. Although, it's kind of funny, I was looking at some online guides earlier just to make sure I didn't forget anything important. And a lot of guides actually have Sprout Tower listed after the gym, which is weird, because I've always done Sprout Tower first. I don't know. Seems really weird, but yeah, as you can see, this gym is pretty much a pushover if you can beat Sprout Tower. Once you get through Sprout Tower, you can be pretty confident you can get through this gym without too many issues. Anyway, get a whopping 217 experience points and almost a level up. Ugh. Darn, my dad's cherished bird Pokemon. Alright, take this. It's the official Pokémon League Zephyr Badge. If you noticed earlier in that text box, for whatever reason, the 3 dots, or as I believe they're called, the ellipsis, is for whatever reason aligned in the center of the text instead of on the bottom. I think that's actually a bit of a translation mistake, believe it or not. And there we have the debut of the Badge Get jingle that was not in Generation 1, it actually came from Generation 2. Very, very neat. Zephyr Badge raises the attack power of Pokemon. It also enables Pokemon to use Flash, if they have it, anytime. Here, take this too. And we get TM31, which I believe contains Mud Slap. Correct? By using a TM, a Pokemon will instantly learn a new move. Think before you act. A TM can be used only once. TM31 contains Mud Slap. Honestly, this move's pretty much garbage, and I wouldn't recommend teaching it. It reduces the enemy's accuracy while it causes damage. In other words, it is both defensive and offensive. Now, it is worth noting he mentioned that your Pokemon has increased attack power while you hold the badge. This is true. I don't think it's true in multiplayer matches, but in the single player, your Pokemon will actually get a slight attack boost once you beat Faulkner. I think only a few of the badges in the game do this, considering there's only like 5 stats they could realistically buff in this way, but it's really, really neat to consider. Nice battle. Keep it up and you'll be the champ in no time at all. And as you can see, once we defeat Faulkner, winning trainers David. Very cool. Alright, let's head outside. And get a phone call from Professor Elm. Hello, David? We discovered something about the egg. My assistant is at the Pokemon Center in Violet City. Could you talk to him? Very, very interesting stuff. Alright, let's head right on over to the Pokemon Center because Professor Elm's got a bit of an errand for us once again, but first I think we want to heal up. We didn't take too much damage in that fight because, I'll be honest, this first gym is really not hard, but whenever you're given the opportunity to heal, I definitely recommend you take it. Alright, also, worth noting, in your own status, David, right here on the menu, be whatever you name your own trainer. We can go into our trainer case, and now we have the Zephyr badge right next to not Volkner's, that's a different gym leader entirely, right next to Faulkner's portrait, and it has that little spinning animation, which I think is a really, really nice touch. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's talk to the assistant who was not here before. David, long time no see. Professor Elm asked me to find you. He has another favor to ask. Would you take the Pokemon egg? Yeah, I'm curious, what happens if you say no? But Professor Elm asked for you. Oh, he seems so disappointed. David, will you take the egg? Yeah, we'll do it. And there is the egg get jingle. Always love that one as well. We discovered that a Pokemon will not hatch until it grows in the egg. It also has to be with other active Pokemon to hatch. David, you're the only person we can rely on. Really? Out of all of Professor Elm's colleagues, the 10-year-old is the only person with Pokemon on hand? Okay. Please call Professor Elm when that egg hatches. And off he goes. Now this is an introduction of part of a really big new feature in Generation 2. If we go into our Pokemon list, you can see that the egg is listed right here alongside our active Pokemon. Any egg that you are in possession of will take up one slot in your party. So as of right now, we can technically only hold 5 Pokemon as long as we're going to keep this egg with us. If we check its stats, you can see its ID number and original trainer are blank because those are set upon hatching. It moves around inside sometimes, it must be close to hatching. As you walk around with the egg, it will come closer and closer to hatching, and this blurb is going to change. Also, if you put this egg in the front of your party, it's just going to default to whoever's in slot 2, and if that's an egg, it'll default to whoever's in slot 3, and so on, because, as is probably obvious, eggs cannot fight. Now, the way egg hatching works is you have to walk around with the egg, which is what I am doing right now. All egg Pokemon, all Pokemon that hatch from eggs, have a stat associated with them known as an egg cycle. Basically, what this is each Pokemon has a certain predetermined number of egg cycles that you have to walk with it before it will hatch. Out of my way. Each egg cycle lasts, I believe, 256 steps or somewhere right around that number. Every time you walk 256 steps, an egg cycle will be complete, and once you've completed all of the egg cycles assigned to a Pokemon, the egg will hatch. That's the basic gist of it. There's a lot of crazy numbers involved in this thing, and slight amounts of randomness, I think, so it's not always going to be the exact same number of steps, I don't believe, but it's definitely worth noting. Anyway, Totodile grows to level 16 right there, and you're probably wondering why on earth I am backtracking. That is because after you defeat Faulkner and you earn the Zephyr badge, something new will happen on Route 29. As you can see, according to my Pokegear, it is Tuesday right now. And only on Tuesdays on Route 29, something very, very, very cool will happen. Alright, we got a Hoot right here. And also, I'm just gonna wander around and grab the berries from the trees that have been growing over the past couple of days, just because we're in the area, we might as well do it. Alrighty, and with that, down goes Hoot. Very nice. So yeah, I'm gonna wander around and grab all of these trees, and we're eventually gonna be meandering our way back to Route 29, because there's something very neat that happens there only on Tuesdays, which I did mention, I want to say, in either episode 1 or episode 2. Pretty sure it was episode 2 where I mentioned it. But yeah, I think I'm just going to wander back over there, and I will meet you guys once we get to see that really, really neat thing I want to show. Alrighty, we are down here at Route 29. Now let's see if I can grab this berry without getting a wild encounter in these 2 steps of grass. Honestly, why do I even bother sometimes? Anyway, here we have a berry. I also grabbed the berry on Route 30 and immediately equipped it to Totodile because, honestly, you should never go without a held item of some kind. They're always good. Anyway, after you beat Faulkner, and only on Tuesdays, this woman shows up right over here. This is Tuscany of Tuesday, at least I think I'm pronouncing that name right. I'll be honest, this is the only time I've ever heard this name. I do believe that this is the first time we've met. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Tuscany of Tuesday. By way of introduction, please accept this gift, a pink bow. Pink Bow is a held item that will increase the power of normal type moves. Very nice. Wouldn't you agree that it is most adorable? It strengthens normal type moves. I'm certain it will be of use. Now, this item actually has a second counterpart in this game that I don't think you can get under normal gameplay, known as the Polka Dot Bow, which does pretty much the exact same thing. Now, the really interesting thing is this item actually got replaced in Generation 3 onwards with an item known as the Silk Scarf, and the Pink Bow and Polka Dot Bow just completely vanished from the game. Now, there's a held item like this for every single type in the entire game, a held item. In later games, as many of you probably know, the Fairy type was introduced, but no corresponding held item exists. They did add a new plate, which is an item type introduced in Generation 4 for the Fairy type, but they did not add one of these generic held items, and I really, really wish they would have brought back the Pink Bow or the Polka Dot Bow and retooled it into being the Fairy type held item. But alas, it was not to be. They have been lost to the ether. Now, you might be wondering why I'm walking back and forth in New Barktown right now. That is actually because I'd really like to hatch this egg this episode, because this is technically the earliest point that we can obtain a certain item in town here, and I'd really like to show it, just in case anyone wants to know where to get this item. So, I think we're gonna do an epic walking montage until this egg finally decides to give up the ghost and hatch. So, let's do this. Aha, there we go. That only took like 7 minutes? Huh? The egg is hatching. And from within hatches this Pokemon. Togepi came out of its egg. This is the only way in the entire game to obtain the Pokemon Togepi. If you were to train up this Togepi and make it really, really, really happy, it will eventually evolve into Togetic. Very cool. Now that we've done that, I think we ought to give Professor Elm a call. Hello, David? How's the egg? What? It hatched? Wow, what kind of Pokemon is it? Please come show me now. Well, we are in the area, so I think we are going to go show Professor Elm what came out of the egg. Alright. David, you look great. Oh, right. Oh, I thought we had to switch it out into the front. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you have to switch it into the front because of the whole following mechanic, and I thought that was going to be the case here, but apparently not. What? That Pokémon! The egg hatched. So, Pokémon are born from eggs. No, perhaps not all Pokémon are. Wow, there's still a lot of research to be done. Thanks, David. You're helping unravel Pokémon mysteries for us. I'm going to have this as a token of our appreciation. And we get the Everstone. This is a held item that will prevent the holder from evolving. This can be really quite helpful if you have a Pokemon that learns good moves at lower levels, but would learn them at later levels if they were to evolve. So if you wait to have a Pokemon evolve beyond its normal evolution level, you could get good moves sooner, so this is really helpful. I suppose you could just press B every level up, but where's the fun in that? That's an Everstone. Some species of Pokemon evolve when they grow to certain levels. A Pokemon holding the Everstone won't evolve. Give it to a Pokemon you don't want to evolve. Now, any of the Pokemon that evolve via trade without a held item, if you give them the Everstone, I'm pretty sure they will still evolve. Actually, no, that's not true. There's a glitch in Generation 4 that causes the Pokemon to still evolve, but I think here that doesn't happen. I think I'm thinking of the fact that when you trade an evolution Pokemon, you can't press B to cancel it. That's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, we are going to magically teleport to Violet City in 3, 2, 1. And bingo, here we are in Violet City. Now, I've deposited Togepi into the PC because I don't plan on using it for my team, but there is one more thing about Pokemon eggs that I should mention before we end things off. In this game, Pokemon hatch from eggs at level 5. Later on in the series, it has changed to level 1, but because of a really amusing technical problem with level 1 Pokemon in these older games, the Pokemon hatch from eggs at level 5. Doesn't explain how Pokemon show up in the wild at levels 2, 3, and 4, but hey, I don't make the game. Alrighty, so anyway, this past episode, we conquered the Violet City Pokemon Gym, and we hatched a Pokemon egg, which is really cool. And next time on Pokemon Crystal, now that we're ending things off, we are going to be heading south, because now that we have the Zephyr badge, we are allowed to do that. And maybe we will find even more Pokemon on our adventure. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.